If you're a hardware founder who wants to build hardware at Shenzhen speed, stop right there, because you'll want to see this. This is Powerhouse, a hardware hub with everything under one roof, where speed is inevitable. Last weekend, we threw a huge opening party. Founders, engineers, factory partners, all in one room. In a minute, I'll tell you the whole story. How I got here, how we've shipped over 500,000 world first units, and how we can do the same for you. So here's how it went.
So welcome to Powerhouse, everybody. Thank you so much for coming today. It really means a lot. It's been a lot of effort to build this place, so very glad to share it with you today. Yeah, there's lots of people that know me from a long time ago, lots of new faces here. So I thought I'd give you a bit of an introduction for those who don't know me yet. So my name is Ryan Woody. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Powerhouse. I've been in Shenzhen for 11 plus years now. Still learning Chinese. 还在学中文. During this time, I have grew a beard. So this is me flying to China the very first time to go and build my first product. And that's me leaving China looking like a caveman. I picked up a world record for engineering. I've run 3 successful crowdfunding campaigns. Shipped over 500,000 products to market. Unfortunately, not all of them worked. You guys will know, hardware is very hard. Sometimes things don't go as a plan. TechCrunch is more than happy to write about it, but we did survive. But yeah, that's the cost of moving fast sometimes. People loved it anyways. This is the IKEA effect. The laptop was DIY, so people built it, and then if it didn't work, it became a lesson in itself of how to get it working again. So we were very lucky that our first product was, a DIY laptop. And yeah, everybody loved it. We grew a 100-person global team across Shenzhen, the UK, which was the headquarters, and the US. And again, moving too fast, lots of mistakes. Things didn't always go to plan, so we had to cut the team back several times. And again, TechCrunch loved writing about that as well. We raised $40 million for our startup over the years, and spent it on a lot of mistakes, tons and tons of mistakes. As I said, growing too fast, shipping hardware that wasn't ready, inexperience, lack of knowledge, all the classic hardware mistakes. And learning to build hardware in Shenzhen, it does just take time. Learning to build anything takes time here. Making hardware mistakes costs a lot of money. Powerhouse exists so that hardware founders can move at Shenzhen speed and not make all the same mistakes that I made, and I'm sure many others have made in the past as well. Without the pain that I went through to figure it all out. Once upon a time, a factory boss gave me the name 杜无敌, which loosely translates to the invincible. Not because I was particularly good, I was not a very good engineer back then, but because I refused to give up. This is me the night before shipping my first product. I sent this picture to my co-founder at the time and to show him how serious I was at getting it done. And that's a masking tape headband that I've got from that. Hardware is hard. Many of you guys know that in the room. A lot of people build hardware here. We're going to make it easier. But actually, we're not really going to make it easier. We're just going to build harder stuff. Too easy is no fun. It's not really our style, so yeah, build more complex things. Hardware was never actually the plan for me though. I originally thought I wanted to build a software company. Back then, like everyone was building SaaS companies, apps. I had a couple of apps and websites myself. I had many business ideas as a teenager. My first business was Batman selling stuff to old ladies. This is me playing shop with my grandma. My grandma taught me a lot of stuff about building. I used to build stuff at her house. Some of my business ideas are very dumb. This is me strapping a megaphone to my roof, and I would record jingles for local businesses and drive around the streets blaring it out the top of my car. Unfortunately, the police weren't very happy, so a policewoman knocked on my door and told me if I didn't stop that they'd impound my car. Yeah, I gave up on the advertising world at that point. Regardless, I always learn something, and learning is very important for us. But it does take time. In 2013, I went on an internship with BP, because that's what everybody did at university. Went on big internships. I realized how much I hated big companies. I didn't like the red tape, the risk assessments. So I went straight back to the startup world, trying to figure out how I could build my own company. And then I learned to make PCBs. So this is the very first thing I ever built. This thing was the first PCB I ever made, and it was a solar-powered laptop. And at that point, I really fell in love with hardware. I fell in love with the software that talks to the hardware, everything about it. I just love building physical things. And then I got my dream outcome. I got into an accelerator called Entrepreneurs First, which is a startup accelerator that takes people pre-idea and pre-team just based on technical ability, which is very new for the time, but they've grown very big since then. I met my co-founder. We started ITOP from my university flat, and after graduating from Oxford, I moved onto Jesse's living room floor. This picture's terrible, by the way, but I couldn't find any other ones. That's where I slept, that's where we filmed the campaign, and my workshop was just behind that. So we got to work building. The first thing we ever built was a desk, and then we built a 3D printer on that desk. And then we built the world's first 3D printed laptop, which was the thing that we got the Guinness World Record for. We even baked PCBs in a mini oven, which was fun. And then we bootstrapped our first crowdfunding campaign. So from his living room, we filmed all of the content, did all the photography, all the engineering. This is us setting up the photography studio. My dad was here. And we bootstrapped it, and we raised $200,000, and that was kind of like the takeoff point for the company. So we decided to try and grow. We got our first office in London, and then we tried to scale and get our product to market. And this is where things really got very, very difficult, because developing hardware from the UK or anywhere remotely for that matter is painfully slow. And it was June 2015. We were meant to ship in May. So we had a terrible month, terrible day. We fell out. Investors were like asking us what was happening. Customers were like, "Where's my product?" I'm working late in the office that night, fixing our latest battery PCB mistakes. It was a battery PCB. And my co-founder calls me up, like, "Oh God, Jess is calling me. What now?" I just really didn't even want to answer it. And he's like, "You know you're going to China next week?" I'm like, "Yeah," because I was flying to China on Monday. He's like, "You shouldn't come back." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly what I should do." And all my stress just went away, because I knew if I was on the ground and I was in the factory, all these PCB mistakes that I was dealing with at that moment, I could just solve instantly. I didn't need to wait for the time zones or the shipping or anything like that. So I flew to China. That's me pre-bid. And I moved into the factory dorms. This is me cleaning my own clothes in a bucket. I moved in there because I wanted to be as close to the factory as possible. So I moved in there. I put my desk on the production line, and I told them I wasn't leaving until the product shipped. And I literally just sat there until it happened, basically. Obviously learning a lot as I went. I worked tirelessly. This is me after many like overnight things where I just stayed up all night trying to figure out how to build hardware. I had no experience back then. It was really awful. I smoked a lot of cigarettes. I smoked 80 in one day once. Me and our firmware engineer at the time, we smoked like 160 cigarettes on the all-nighter. It was ridiculous. And then I went a little bit insane. Like I was just doing all this weird stuff, sending photos to Jesse. And I lost a ton of weight because all I lived on was Langzhou Lamian, like 2豆牛肉面. So I lost tons of weight. And then I worked on the assembly line. So this is the makeshift assembly line we set up next to the SMT oven. And I worked on there because I really wanted to know like how bad my design was so that I could be a better engineer. That was always the plan for me. But mostly I did this because like leaders lead from the front, like builders should also build from the front. So yeah, I just wanted to be there. I wanted to show all the factory workers, all the guys in the factory, how much this meant to me, so that they would put in the extra effort to make it happen. So building what you design with your own hands is something we've always done at all my companies. This is all of our engineers building stuff on our production lines. And this is still how we do things at Powerhouse, of course. It's why we chose to base ourselves so far away. Like some of you have come from, central Shenzhen, in an old factory near other factories. We want to be close to the action. Factory front lines is really in our DNA. We want to be there when the problems happen to solve them. So 5 months later, blood, sweat, and noodles, we shipped. I made my triumphant return to the UK, desperately needing a haircut and a beard cut, and a shower. This is me showering in the London office. I used to just live there when I went back, staying money on wood towels. This is me with a bubble wrap duvet in the old office in London. We immediately launched a new campaign, funded it, so I flew back to China. Got myself a Laoban desk, a Laoban chair. We rebuilt the whole factory because we were growing so quickly. We then built a brand new factory. It was a lot of fun, like designing the layouts of the factory is really fun. This is our office in the factory down there, so that we could ship tons of products. And now we're building what I wish existed when I first came to Shenzhen, which is the Powerhouse. This building hardware doesn't have to be so painful. Founders don't need to pay the same price that I did. Powerhouse gives them instant hardware capability. And what we are really is a hardware hub, where speed is inevitable. We're all about speed to market. Because we have everything under one roof, and that's the whole point. That's why it's called Powerhouse. That's why we have all this stuff here, so that everything is here. Insane engineering talent. Hopefully you'll get a chance to meet some of our engineers tonight. They're excellent HardwareStartup veterans, manufacturing partners. Many of our old manufacturing partners are here, and fundraising opportunities. We want Powerhouse to become a fundraising hub as well. Powerhouse is a place to get things built fast. And we're launching 2 new things today. So there's one place, 3 ways to build. We're launching Powerhouse Spaces, which is this lovely space over here that you can see, 2 private offices, a co-working space over there, so that founders can come and explore the hardware ecosystem, explore what they could build, and then hopefully come on to one of our 8-week boot camps, which is where we'll mentor founders to go from 0 to prototype in 8 weeks or less, and they can go back to the US, the UK, and raise a ton of money. And then we have our original service, Powerhouse Engineering, where we help people scale to manufacturing and beyond. So spaces to explore, boot camps to build, engineering to scale, so all under one roof. Some of our success stories, you see the Layer canvas hanging in the middle of the room over here. This is Jules, the CTO of Layer. This is a beautiful generative art display that we've been working on since the beginning of Powerhouse. We're also working on Convoy. You'll see that in the other room. Electrified bicycle trailer with some really, really cool engineering behind it. And we've also worked on various IoT products and other types of things. Many more to come in the future. So how can you guys help Powerhouse? Well, first of all, you're all here, so thank you very much for being here. Being here to support us is already a massive help, so thank you so much, guys, for coming today. I hope you have a really good evening. I hope you meet so many cool people. And what we're looking for, if you want to help beyond that, is ambitious hardware founders that want to build the next generation of technology, manufacturers who want to innovate, suppliers who want to innovate and be at the forefront of hardware development, and community partners to host events. Hello, yeah, that's working. Just volume up a bit. Community partners to host events in our lovely space, and talented people to join our team. This is really important for us. We're looking for electronics engineers, mechanical engineers, project managers, and firmware, robotics, algorithm engineers. So if you guys know anyone or you are one, let's chat. That would be great. It's good. And finally, there's one more thing that I did in China in the last 11 years. I found someone that puts up with me. This is 10 years ago, me and Quina, when I still had a full head of hair. She always has a can-do attitude, and she's the reason that this place looks so amazing tonight.
Wow.
In February 2025, the same week that we started Powerhouse and I was working on the website, something special happened. We found out that Powerhouse baby was on the way. And now we've decided to build a family. And this is our lovely son, Leon, who's not here tonight because there's just far too many people here now. So I wish you all success in building your own families, relationships, careers, businesses, whatever it is you care about. And I hope you'll meet many people here tonight that will help you on that journey. So looking forward to building the next chapter with you all. Let's build.